Canada's skilled trades and blue-collar workforce are watching the country's businesses, talent, and tradespeople walk out the door. And it's not coming back. Last year, 65,372 Canadians bounced, according to the Statistics of Canada, the highest number in over 50 years.
That's a lie.
Almost half of Canadians' businesses are planning to shift investments and operations to the United States. And 40% of Canadians who would rank in the top 1% of earners have already moved south of the border. This isn't a headline, it's reality. If you clicked on this video, you're about to find out why Canada's business exodus is gutting its blue-collar future. Why the combination of high taxes, suffocating regulation, and a massive retirement wave is creating a crisis that Canada may not be able to fix in time. And why this should matter to every blue-collar worker in North America, including the United States. I've spent over 30 years in blue-collar work, union carpenter, project manager, and UAW inspector. I've seen what happens when the trades get ignored. And what's happening in Canada right now is the worst case scenario playing out in real time. And the number I'm going to show you in section 4 about how many apprenticeship positions are actually getting filled in Canada will make you understand why this problem might already be past the point of no return. Let's start with the businesses, because when businesses leave, they take the jobs with them. I'm talking about blue-collar jobs. According to a KPMG survey of 250 Canadian business leaders, almost half of Canadian businesses are planning to shift more investments and more operations to the United States immediately. Not thinking about it, planning it. Ontario alone saw a significant drop in manufacturing jobs in 2025 as companies prioritize being closer to the American consumer base. U.S. companies have been acquiring major Canadian firms for years, from tech companies to manufacturing operations, drawn by lower corporate taxes, better access to capital, and a larger market. And here's the part that hits blue-collar workers directly. Every manufacturing plant that moves south, it takes electricians and millwrights and welders and maintenance techs with them. Every corporate headquarters that relocates to the construction projects, the office build-outs, and the commercial HVAC contracts that were keeping tradespeople employed, the business exodus isn't just a corporate problem though, it's a trade problem. Fewer businesses means fewer buildings to build, fewer factories to maintain, and fewer commercial projects to staff. And what's a real trip is that Canada isn't just losing companies, it's losing the entire ecosystem that blue-collar workers depend on. And the reasons these businesses are leaving, they're structural, not temporary. So why exactly are they leaving? 2 words, taxes and regulations. Actually 3, immigration. Canada's combined top marginal tax rates exceed 54% in some provinces. Nova Scotia hits the highest. The federal carbon tax on industrial operations is rising to $110 per ton in 2026. That's according to the Environment and Climate Change Canada. Capital gain taxes, payroll taxes, property taxes, they stack on top of each other to create one of the heaviest tax burdens in the developed world. For a tradesman running a small business, that means more than half of every dollar above a certain threshold, it goes to the government. For a company deciding where to build its next factory, the math is simple. The same operation costs significantly less in Texas, Florida, or Tennessee. And it's not just the taxes. Canada's regulatory environment adds layers of compliance, permitting delays, and bureaucratic overhead that slows down everything from building a house to opening a damn business. The Globe and Mail reported that Canadian companies consider a move to the U.S. face a 25% departure tax on their net assets, and many are paying it anyway because the long-term savings still makes it worth the right move. Think about that for a minute. The tax to leave is 25% of everything you own, and businesses are still choosing to pay it rather than stay. When the cost of leaving is that high and companies are still leaving, that tells you everything you need to know about how bad the environment has gotten. And it's the same way in California. But it's not just businesses leaving, it's the people. Canada had people leaving at a rate of 65,000 from 2024 to 2025. That's the highest in 50-year data series. According to the Bank of Canada, roughly 40% of Canadians would rank in the top 1% of earners. They've all moved to the United States. A former Google executive just proposed a $500,000 exit tax on educated Canadians who leave. That's how desperate the brain drain has become. And this isn't just tech workers and executives. Skilled tradespeople are leaving too, drawn by higher pay, lower taxes, and a better opportunity in the U.S. market. Even those with Red Seal certification, Canada's national standard for skilled trades, are finding better opportunities south of the border. Now layer the trades crisis on top of that. BuildForce Canada projects that over 300,000 construction workers will retire in the next decade. The Canadian Construction Association and Canadian Apprenticeship Forum report that only 1 in 5 apprenticeship positions actually gets filled. The number of registered apprentices has dropped 15% over the past decade. 1 in 5 Canadian construction workers is over the age of 55. Ontario alone needs to fill 118,900 construction positions by 2023, while 82,600 workers are retiring. New Brunswick expects to lose a third of its construction workforce in just 5 years. Canada has businesses leaving, talent leaving, tradespeople retiring, and a training pipeline that's filling at 20% capacity. That's not a problem you can fix with a government program. That's a structural collapse. And here, my friends, is where the whole thing crashes together, because Canada has a housing crisis that literally cannot be solved without tradespeople. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation says Canada needs 5.8 million new homes by 2030 to restore affordability. Ontario's government has a target of 1.5 million new homes by 2031. But who's going to build them? You can't build 5.8 million homes without electricians. You're going to need plumbers, you're going to need carpenters, and you're going to need HVAC techs, iron workers, and concrete crews. And Canada is losing those workers faster than it can replace them. The skilled labor shortage has already reduced the construction industry's efficiency by 30%. Job vacancies in skilled trades are growing 11% per year, and that's expected to increase to 13% per year very soon. And here's the part that should scare every Canadian. A licensed electrician, plumber, or millwright requires 4 to 5 years of apprenticeship. There are no shortcuts. Even if Canada tripled its apprenticeship enrollment tomorrow, those workers wouldn't even be ready until 2030 at the earliest. And the retirement wave is happening now. The building needs to happen now, and the pipeline can't deliver for another 4 to 5 years. That's a gap that just cannot be closed. Another way to see this is every month Canada spends not building the pipeline of future tradespeople is a month added to their housing shortage a decade from now. The decisions being made today are locking in the crisis of 2035. And this is exactly why what's happening in Canada should be a wake-up call for everyone, even here in the U.S. Because when a country ignores its blue-collar workforce, the consequences aren't theoretical, they're happening right now. That's what Course Careers is built for, helping people breaking into high-paying careers without a degree and without debt and without the red tape. They've got tons of construction courses with thousands of real reviews. Check out the link in the description, guys. Now let me tell you why this matters for Americans and what this means for blue-collar workers on this side of the border. Because some of you sitting in the U.S. are probably thinking, that's a Canada problem, not mine. Well, here's why you're wrong. First, Canada's loss is Americans' gain. Every skilled tradesperson who leaves Canada is a potential worker entering the U.S. market. Many are navigating programs like Express Entry and the Federal Skilled Trades Program to make the transition. Every business that relocates south of the border is a company that needs American tradespeople to build, install, and maintain their operations. The flow of talent and business from Canada to U.S. is increasing demand for blue-collar workers in America, which means more jobs, higher wages, and more opportunity. Second, the U.S. has the same risk factors that Canada has. The average age of a U.S. construction worker is 42. Over 40% of skilled workers are over 45. The retirement wave is coming here too. The U.S. needs 349,000 new construction workers in 2026 and 456,000 by 2027. The only difference? America is investing. Lowe's just put $250 million behind trades training. Union apprenticeship programs are expanding, with completion rates around 35% according to the Department of Labor, still better than Canada's 20%. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act allocated over $1 trillion for projects that all require skilled labor. Canada let the pipeline collapse. America is trying to build it up. But if the U.S. stops investing, if it takes the trades for granted, it could end up exactly where Canada is right now. With the crisis, it can't build its way out of because there's nobody left to build. Canada is the cautionary tale, America is the crossroads, and the blue-collar workers who position themselves now in the U.S. market with the right certifications and the right specializations and the right plan are going to benefit from both sides of the equation. Canada is losing its businesses to high taxes and regulations. It's losing its talent to brain drain. 65,000 people left last year alone. It's losing its trade people to retirement and 300,000 in the next decade. Its apprenticeship pipeline is filling at 20%. It needs 5.8 million homes and doesn't have the workers to build them. And the gap between what Canada needs and what it can deliver is getting wider every single year. It's not a prediction, guys. It's already happening, and I hate to see it. I have lots of friends in Canada. If you're a blue-collar worker in the United States right now with certification, specialization, and a plan, you're positioned for the greatest demand for your skills in modern history. Not just from the U.S. market, but from the overflow of Canadian demand that can't be met north of the border. The question is whether you're ready to take advantage of it all. I break all of that down several times a week here on JV Charles TV. Make sure and subscribe and check out the 2 videos I recommend on the end screen. This is JV Charles, and I'll see you on the next one.